What's up, LaShayla?
Yo, 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 yo. What's up, T?
Well, I know by the time you guys listen to this, it'll be Monday. Happy Juneteenth,
Happy Juneteenth.
right? And happy Father's Day
And
to
happy
all the
Father's Day.
daddies out there. I hope that you enjoyed your Father's Day, did something fun, spent some time with those that you love. It's awesome. My dad passed away, so I don't have my dad on Father's Day. My stepdad's
T.
cool though,
Sorry
but they're
about
not. Say that?
I said I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
Didn't
thank you.
realize that.
My stepdad's cool. He's not here though. They went on a cruise and I think they get back later today. But I did
Nice.
get some text messages from my mom like, "Oh, Tuck said he wanted to add something to his list." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
What?
Oh, please, he's a mess. But
OMG.
happy Father's Day, happy Juneteenth.
Hey, Tuck. Yeah, happy Father's Day to my daddy. Oh, good old Leland Stepney. My pop, who actually was in my life most of my life, Malon Williams, and Nafis and his dad. Just love them, Grady. And RIP to his grandfather, who was an amazing father figure in Nafis's life, and he was hilarious.
Nice.
So, I brought him to the Sixers facility, and I told him not to curse and not to say certain things, and he did it anyway.
Oh, of course. Like, it's almost like you're better off not saying anything.
I know, it was great.
To say. Well, listen, I get excited about Juneteenth. It's one of my favorite holidays that I hold near and dear to my heart because when you think about it, it's a very, very much a historic day.
Yes.
We all celebrate to remind us of the end of slavery in the US. Fun fact, not even a fun fact, but a real fact that the end of slavery was in the US was on June 19th, 1865. So 1865. How's that? When you hear that, what does that do to you?
It makes me eye roll.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I watch some of those movies that, I don't know, that was some of the producers kind of created those movies to give you a depiction or just give you just at least a glimpse of what slavery was like.
Yeah.
And it's gut wrenching. I can't even watch it.
I
Like,
know.
it's hard to even wrap your head around what all that went on during the times of slavery. So, although it's a great holiday that we celebrate, and if you are not sure about it, like, you should educate yourself. Like, take this time to engage in educational resources. Another thing that you can do is support local Black-owned businesses. I think that's a really big thing that we can do. You shouldn't just be doing those just on Juneteenth alone. That, we have to do a better job supporting Black-owned businesses.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, and living in Atlanta, you get to do that every day, all day. You don't have to wait until Juneteenth. Like living in Atlanta, huge Black population and thriving, and it's really cool to see. But yeah, just thinking about, your ancestors and enslaved Africans and, finally getting a holiday that you actually don't have to work on is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's not enough. So we're going to celebrate what we have, but
make the best of what we have. Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things you don't want to be reminded of. So for me, it's so hard to call it a holiday and celebrate, even though you have to celebrate the wins, but it's just a reminder of just like the cruelty of the world.
That's the right word for it. Because it's hard to even articulate what slavery was. But I think one word to sum it all up, like you said, is just cruelty.
Yeah.
But, it reminds me too, is like, what are some things that we can do on Juneteenth, right? And I think a lot for me is like understanding our history, whatever it is that you can do. I mean, we use it all the time. The powerful Google tells you so much, but sometimes it's cool to go check out like a museum. Like you've been to the African American Museum in DC. I love that museum. It is so nice. They redid it and it's so, it's just, I don't know, you learn something new every time you go.
Yeah.
So is how can we use this as an opportunity to learn more about our history and not just learn more about our history, but embrace our
Yeah.
history as well.
Yeah, and also contribute to it,
Mhm.
try to find people who inspire you, that you never knew about, and use those stories to fuel you for, what we can be doing continually to, add to the culture and improve what we're doing and, um, just to further the legacy of who you are, where your family came from, what your family has overcome, and just really try and contribute to, the work that has already been done and yeah, just, spend it in a positive way. It's kinda how I
Yeah.
feel.
Yep. What are some other things that you can do on Juneteenth?
Support I think
Yeah.
support the celebrations, there's parades, there's
Oh
festivals,
yeah.
there's tastings.
I haven't been to a good parade in a long time. I wanted to go to one of the Pride parades because it's Pride Month as well, and I just want to. It's
Of
something about
course,
a
they always try
parade.
to loop it in there together,
Yeah,
all of
people we
it.
need our own stuff
You
too.
know what I mean?
Like we just need to. But this is the thing. Like when you are celebrating, whether it be Pride or you know racial social justice, like it's not something you do once a month or you do something on one day. Like when we think about like inclusivity and just diversity and all those things, like that's not something you do one day. That's something that you embrace. That you always strive to be inclusive. You always strive to embrace the differences of other people. And
Mhm.
I think we also have to do a better job of is advocating for. When I think about Juneteenth too, and something that we can do is like how do we continue to advocate for racial justice?
Yeah,
Whether it be for advocating for voting rights or, you know, anti-discrimination policies in certain workplaces. I think I take that very seriously. Of course, in workplaces that I work for, is making sure that we treat everyone fairly and try to be consistent with our practices. But
right.
I also think there's a lot of different things that we can do as a community to advocate for racial justice for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and if there's nothing going on at your job, you know, why not make suggestions, or ask what they're doing, to make sure that, certain holidays are honored and brought up. I know we had to do that at my company during the pandemic, during all the civil rights, social justice hoorah. A lot of my colleagues, we got together, we created a committee. We,
Awesome.
we tried to nudge instead of like give everything so that, everyone's contributing and everyone's doing the work. And, so I mean, it's a hard work, but it felt good just trying. It felt good just getting people together and coming together to do stuff like that. So
That's so awesome. I know a friend of mine's, they're doing like a whole block. Remember block parties for those of you who
yes.
are familiar? Well, I'm from Philly, so we
I
used
was
to
about to
have
say
block
when I moved to
parties all the
Philly.
time. But
Yeah.
those of you who are not familiar with a block party, it's when you pretty much like you shut down the street. So no one's driving down the street. You shut it off and you're having like, whether it be barbecues and kids playing, but everyone's in the middle of the street doing something and playing
Yep.
music and playing games and
Going
just
in out the
eating
house,
together. Oh, yeah,
changing
and you're all
outfits.
outside, like, in the street, so that's why they call it a block party because it's on the block, but, they're doing some block parties on Juneteenth and kinda celebrating the traditional, like, different foods and stuff. I think that's so
Yeah.
cool,
That's what we're
and I
gonna
have
do.
not been to a block party in, like, a gazillion years, so
I
I
know.
think that's pretty cool how they're going to really just embrace Juneteenth by, and even have someone come to talk about Juneteenth at their block party and,
Right.
have all kinds of different foods and stuff. I think that's pretty cool and just, really celebrate that time together with family and loved ones. And,
Yep.
you know, those type of things are just so, I don't know, they're very sentimental
I
to
could
me
tell.
because those are things that you just don't get back. Time is just
Right.
like something you don't get back. So when you are very intentional about your time and you're spending your time trying to do the right thing, to me, that just means everything to me.
Yeah, no, I
And
totally agree.
yeah.
I hadn't been to a block party till I moved to Philly. So shout
See?
out to Philly and the block
Hey,
parties.
what's up,
It's
Philly?
because they have row housing. So if you guys aren't familiar with Philly, the way the city is set up is row housing. So the houses are literally connected to each other. So it makes sense to have a block party because we all close.
Might as well get up close and personal.
Might as well.
Look, before we end, I want to end with this is that we as a society have to do better with treating people better, right? It's like
Yeah.
like we have to pretty much abolish hatred. And that's, people should be who they are no matter what. When I think about celebrating pride, it's important to me because people should love whoever they want to love without fear of judgment or being ridiculed because who you choose to love. And you should have
Right.
when I think about that too, it's like even when I have Juneteenth in mind, it's like you shouldn't hate people because of their race or ethnicity or wherever it is they come from. It's like we as society has to do better with hate. There are things that we can do to address unconscious bias because it's there and it happens, but it's all about awareness and education to stop that unconscious bias that we have. But a very small step that we can take is stop the hatred. Love people for who they are, and whatever judgment you have, keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah.
Fair?
Fair.
Okay. Happy Juneteenth.
Happy
And make sure to
Juneteenth.
continue following Tipping the Scales wherever you get your podcast. Peace.
Love you guys.
Bye.